In this virtual conference, our hometown president and CEO Matt Larson hosts a discussion on the Virginia Press Association's digital initiative. The panel includes Steve Weddle of the Virginia Press Association, Lisa Watson-Mccarty, publisher at the Scott County Virginia Star, and Billy Colburn, publisher at Courier Record in Blackstone, Virginia. Our hometown is partnering with press associations around the country with its Digital Initiative Grant Program to help local publishers develop and succeed with their online presence. Learn more at ourhometown.com.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 3 p.m. session, our final session of the day, the Virginia Press Association's Digital Initiative Program. We'll be joined by Matt Larson, Billy Colburn, and Lisa Watson-Mccarty here in a second. First, I just wanted to welcome you and remind you all that next year we're in person, and we hope to see you all in Short Pump next year. I know Billy Colburn's looking forward to seeing everyone there, as are we all. So that'll be great. But this is the final session for this year. So I'd like to remind everyone attending, you're muted. If you have questions, you can type them in either at the Q&A session at the bottom or at the other section of the notes. So just drop them in there. We'll find them, and we will ask at the end of the presentation. So first I want to introduce Billy Colburn, publisher, editor of the Courier Record in Blackstone, where he has been for 30 some odd years. His family's owned the paper. He's also the mayor of Blackstone. Those of you who have the Facebook may have seen Billy engaging with his constituents on Facebook. He's a very active mayor. I know a number of us have considered moving to Blackstone just to live in Billy's town. But he has been working with the Courier Record, as I said, for more than 3 decades, and former board member and a scratch golfer. Is that right?
No, not close.
Okay. Yeah, and we also have Lisa Watson-Mccarty with us. She's been involved in the newspaper business since the mid-'80s, again, with a family newspaper, the Powell Valley News in Pennington Gap, Virginia. Right, Lisa? Yeah. Right. So she and her husband Rex purchased the Scott County Virginia Star in Gate City. She's been the editor and publisher since then. Small weekly paper. She is responsible for, and Billy, I'm sure, can identify with this as well, day-to-day business operations, writing, editing, reporting, photography, vending machine maintenance, telephone answering, and so forth. So the reason that we've asked them to join us is because they have taken advantage of the digital initiative here through VPA and Our Hometown partnership. And from Our Hometown, we have Matt Larson, the president and CEO of Our Hometown, who has served the newspaper industry for the past dozen years. They provide the website, the WordPress-based platform customized for newspapers and develops tools for newspapers to, and here's the important thing, monetize their content online. So not just technically getting folks up, but also making it so that you can engage with the readers and also monetize that so that you can continue to engage with the readers for years to come. So at this point, introductions out of the way, housekeeping taken care of. Matt, I will hand it off to you and Lisa and Billy.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Steve. I appreciate the introduction. If it's okay with Bill and Lisa, I'll just do, we kind of did our introductions. We heard about the company, everyone's papers. Billy, could you just actually give me the size of the paper? I didn't catch that. Like circulation size?
We're just shy of 5,000 print circulation, and we've got about 650 of our e-subscribers, and they've really taken off since we've joined Our Hometown.
Right.
For some reason, it really has taken off.
So, yeah, you're in a slightly different situation because you did have a website before joining the initiative, but it wasn't taken off. You couldn't get the subscriptions to take off. Was that the issue?
The thing that's true. And plus, as Lisa can relate, we're so busy doing everything else. All of us are just saying, please, dear God, someday let it rain money from the internet. And I've always had faith that our industry would get this right. And it's companies like yours that I think are taking the lead. Us weekly folks have got to be led. We're doing too many things.
Right.
We're short-staffed, and it's not getting any better.
Right.
But I will say the biggest feature I've noticed that has been a positive is that our hometown will take a given week's edition and drop those stories on social media.
Right.
And the exposure of the paper, I mean, non-readers are now like all of a sudden actively engaged.
Right.
Of course, they're not paying us any money yet. But when we throw that paywall up in a couple of months, we're going to break some hearts and hopefully make a little money.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And really well put. I mean, there's so many things to tease apart there. I'm going to go into them in more detail, especially the social media thing. It's a key part of the strategy. So we'll talk all about that. Lisa, again, just for context, the size of your paper and kind of what got you interested in the digital initiative.
We are a 6,000 paid subscriber, weekly, published every Wednesday. We have an older population who was slow and resistant to wanting an online edition, but I always wanted that. I didn't have the expertise myself. I didn't have the capability. I had no staff who could do that.
Right.
And this has been a godsend for us, this initiative with VPA. And working with your company, Matt, has been outstanding. I cannot say enough how much they have helped us. And we are slowly growing online subscribers. It's been a little challenge. I was a little hesitant to just jump right into it.
Right.
And I needed a little push from you guys occasionally to get me moving in the right direction. But I can't say enough of the design. Everything about it looks so professional. I mean, we look like we're a big time company, and we're just a little small company with about 5 employees who are working our butts off trying to cover our county.
Right. Wow. Well, I mean, I couldn't have put our whole mission statement better. I mean, we really do want to make you guys look like the New York Times, without the costs involved. And, we're basically just a remote tech team. So you don't need to learn anything to get involved. So let's get to the heart of this now. I just want to break it down for everyone just so that you know exactly what we're talking about here. Basically, the objective that Steve and Betsy came to me originally with was to get every newspaper in Virginia online with a turnkey digital revenue strategy. And that means, there's a lot to that. You've got to have the paywall in place, but you've also got to be updating the full articles every single week. And, that's what Bill was talking about. He was online, but he didn't really have, the workflow for getting all the content there. So that's how we helped him. But with Lisa, it was just getting online in the first place and then also publishing. So first of all, we're going to take our website templates. You don't need to design anything. You just pick and choose. I like that site. I want to look like Virginia Star or the Florida Weekly, and we'll just set it up for you. We move over your archives. Then we continue to update the website each week with content from the print PDF. And that is absolutely key to our business model. And both Lisa and Bill mentioned the importance of that. That's why we have existed for 26 years. I just want to make that clear. Steve said, I've been in the business 12 years. That is true. But this company has been doing this for newspapers for 26 years because there's always been a need for it. There's always been publishers that are just have their hands full already with print. Now this internet thing comes up. So that was the idea behind the company, and this has been our bread and butter for years. Then we monetize the content and just do it for the publisher. We set up the paywall for them, and we're taking that most engaged section of the audience and monetizing them with a paywall. We don't always launch the paywall right away. This is part of like the final configuration. Sometimes you want to have a free site a little bit to build traffic. But that's, all, variables that are up to the publisher ultimately. But we come in with this model that's, pretty much all defined. Then we also monetize the casual traffic with an ad network. So I don't know. I'd love to hear people's experience in the chat, or, Bill and Lisa, or Bill, if you have any, experience with ad networks on your old site. But basically, this is a completely turnkey thing that we would plug you into, so you don't need to deal with getting AdSense approval and things like that.
That's correct. We had no type of advertising on our former website other than a few, like 4 or 5 sponsors that were on the top of the homepage.
Right.
With your company, and I'm still learning because we've, I've definitely seen ads. My understanding is we get paid based on the views, not clicks on the ads.
Correct.
And so
visits.
far, visits. I don't know how that's working out. I haven't. My bank account isn't full yet, but I guess next week maybe it will be.
Right. Yeah. Well, that is generating revenue. The nice thing about that is it generates revenue from day one. It's not if you're getting 1,000 views a week, it's not going to be a ton, it's a couple dollars, but we build it from there. And you have started off with an advantage. I mean, because you already had the website. So you're into the tens of thousands a month. But yeah, we can definitely talk about where your revenue is at offline. But then growing the website traffic. So, basically we set up this model to collect revenue either from subscriptions or ads, and then we scale the traffic. And that's really key. And it's been interesting. I've learned so much working with publishers that don't have a website because they've all been forced to really grow an audience on Facebook. The audience has been looking for them. And so they found them on Facebook and they've got a great following there, and we can convert that to website traffic. And then that traffic we convert to revenue. So that's the big picture. That's the digital initiative in a nutshell. Does anyone have any questions, comments? Drop them in the chat. Stop me at any time, but I'll just keep going. Basically, I wanted to give this visual for everyone to understand what we do each week. When Bill and Lisa send us those PDF files, that's it. They're done with updating the website. From there, we take it, we deconstruct the PDF with some Adobe software that pulls out all the embedded text. Then we tag the articles as what category they're in. So it's kind of part automated, part manual process. And then we just publish every article on the website for you. I noticed one thing, Bill, on your old site. I think you just published teasers and then it linked to a PDF. I think that was one difference before, right?
It was no rhyme or reason to it. Basically, my Facebook strategy was, and I will say this, I doubt many papers our size in our community, we've got like 12,300 followers. So I would go live, right. like if something big was going on, there was no rhyme or reason. I would just I'm live, and people, I'd watch the number of viewers go, it would go like 20, 40, 120, 210.
Right.
I'd maintain them. But then my wife and I would laugh. It's like, okay, great. We've got a fan club. We don't make any money off of it.
That's right. That's exactly.
Get money out of those fans.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. And so now this is a real concrete way to turn that into revenue. With Facebook, there's always been this promise of revenue, but it's never turned into anything. So let's get to that. Now, let's look at some real examples. Actually, I want to come back to the Facebook in much more detail again. But virginiastar.net, this is your first website, Lisa, you said. So we're building this traffic from scratch.
Actually, Matt, we had an old website.
I'm sorry, you did have a site, but...
I had lost an employee who took a different job, and we hadn't updated in several years.
Several years, that's right.
Something like that.
I'm sorry, forgive me. Yeah, I forget the details. Okay. But that's... When you have a situation like that, unfortunately, the audience is, they've disappeared at this point. Yeah, because what we've learned is you got to update it really every week to maintain that traffic. So yeah, you were essentially going from no traffic to trying to build an audience. So how are you getting the word out about the website? Do you talk about it in the print edition at all, or?
Yeah, we do. We're getting ready to do a big push because I'm actually working with Vera from your staff, who's helping me do some of the Facebook where we will put on there, and I'm going to do a whole. When you do everything basically yourself, your time is pretty limited. And
no, absolutely.
I finished the graduation edition, and I got three high schools in my county, so I can move to the next thing. And I'm almost out of sports, so I'll be able to concentrate on working on this.
Yeah,
and then it should be seamless, I hope.
Believe me, I get it. Yeah, and this is something that the way Vera always says it is everyone knows that you need to be on Facebook because there's an audience there, but who has the time to do this on top of everything else? And so that's why we've automated the social media marketing with our WordPress plugin. I'll talk about that in more detail shortly, but let me ask you this. This is an FAQ that a lot of publishers ask, and I haven't seen this question in the chat yet, but we get this all the time. How long does it usually take to get a website launched? Bill, let's start with Lisa. How long did it take for us to turn this site around for you?
It was about maybe 6 weeks from start to finish.
Okay.
And most of it was because of me. I wasn't quite ready to go in. Not that I didn't trust you guys. It's just I didn't have the time to devote to the things I needed to do on my end.
Right.
And it was really easy. It was very easy.
That's the thing with these things. There's always a couple things that we do need the publisher to do. Like we're going to need you to provide your DNS login, for your URL. And if you haven't, looked at your website or really touched that stuff in years, it might be kind of a hassle finding the login. But the bottom line is like we really try to minimize what we need you to do. We just, basically take care of the whole design. And our typical turnaround time is 4 to 8 weeks. So you're right on average there. And then week to week, when you send us those PDF files, how long does it basically take for us to publish them as text articles on the website in your experience?
I suspect that I don't actually follow it per se.
Right.
Only because I do upload the PDFs to you. I don't actually look at the website until Wednesday morning. It's always done, unless I've screwed up. I've done that once or twice. So. And
that's right. That's kind of the point. Is this thing is all designed so that you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to check the website to make sure that we did it right. We have a whole quality control process. So just for your information and just for everyone listening, basically for a 12 to 15 page paper, it's going to take us about an hour to do this whole extraction process from when we receive the files. So very quick, faster than it would take to copy and paste everything for sure. And plus you don't have to do it, right?
That's the best part. I don't have to do it, and you do it, and it ends up and it looks fabulous.
Well, it has to get done, and it's just like, you have better things to do. I mean, you're the publisher than copying and pasting. So let's turn it over to Bill. How long did it take us to turn around the new website from when we first started talking? Do you recall?
I mean, from the time we first started talking, I'd say like 4 weeks. We were very seamless. Vera's the MVP. In fact, I've got to talk to her about some other things. But the big dilemma, it's not a dilemma. My mindset, having grown up on print, third generation.
Yes.
Each week I'll look at what stories, there's some things we exclude from being dispersed on social media, such as the obituaries, which are paid.
Right. And that's the bottom line is all these marketing efforts with social media. It's just about tapping into this audience that, maybe we've lost touch with. They're still there, but they've, they're on Facebook, most of the day. Some of these people. So now here, let's take a look at your site. Courier Record, redesign, mobile friendly design on WordPress. Any comments for us on this, Bill? On the whole process of designing the website and launching. Anything you'd like to add?
It's been. I'll be honest with you. Y'all done great work. Y'all done the work. Basically, we upload the pages just like we do to our printer.
Right.
And voila, it starts your stories at 6 o'clock the next day. Right. I've got a little internal hiccup I got to give a Vera about on Instagram.
Yes.
But Facebook, and we do it on Twitter.
Right.
Twitter, I don't get Twitter and Instagram because there's not a lot of feedback, but conversely, there's not a lot of negativity as well.
Right.
We get a few likes on Twitter.
Right.
But mainly it's the actions on Facebook.
Definitely. Yeah. Because you have 12,000 followers. That's the biggest thing. I would encourage everyone listening to check out your Facebook page and just see what your follower count is if you don't know. Because if it's over, 10,000, that's a significant resource, because if even a fraction of those people see your posts, then a fraction of those people will click. It really adds up. Well, see, Bill, I've got a really cool stat for you on the percentage of traffic coming from Facebook to your website right now. I'll get to that in just a minute.
Okay.
So Courier Record, here's some FAQs I came up with. This is just a common question we get. So, and Bill, I know that you've done this, so I'm asking you, can I sell print, digital, and combo subscriptions through the website?
I honestly don't. I think yes, we do. We have a hybrid model. You can be a e-subscriber,
exactly,
only print subscriber, or we do a combination deal.
Right.
I think the price is $35.
Exactly.
I can't remember. I
got it right here. Okay. I was just checking it. Yeah, no problem. You've kind of got the perfect options. I think some people put a little bit too many options on their subscribe page. I think having one all-in digital subscription is good, and then having the combos in the different areas, and then print only. Just in case someone wants to take out a print subscription in the middle of the night, they can't call the office, it's on the website. We just want to make it as easy as possible. And then we have ways to export, those lists to whatever circulation system you use. That's different for every paper. What do you use, Bill? Are you on Interlink, or which circulation management do you use? Do you remember?
I honestly don't know. My staff.
Okay, your staff's on that. Okay, no problem.
One point I do want to make to everybody listening, and I don't know if it's happening elsewhere in Virginia, but here in Blackstone, Virginia, we do all our work Tuesday night. We take the physical papers to the post offices.
Right.
Some days here in Blackstone, which has a nice big post office, no mail gets delivered, or only on certain routes. So that's why this e-subscription is so big. Right. And I'm telling people who don't live in the county, I'm like, look, I urge you, if you want to keep your sanity and not miss a week or get your paper late, please do the e-edition. It's cheaper, and you don't have to worry about it being late.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. It's cheaper right here, $25 as opposed to 50. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we can do here. Like if you have print subscribers that you want to give digital access to just for free, we just need a list of your print subscribers. We'll put it into the site. And then there's a process where they can just claim that subscription. I mean, there's a lot of different options here. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too much, but let's talk about this. For the ad network, Bill, I think, do you recall there was basically 2 steps involved in that? Was it a lot of work on your part, I guess is the question, getting that ad network running?
It basically has been myself, my front office manager, my graphic designer, and it's been a walk in the park.
Right.
But we were with another company.
Right.
So before we made the switch, of course, we had to get all our ducks in a row. Yeah. And of course, we were a little nervous about when you change companies, they're going to be kind of. They were nice about it. They understood, right. And it's been seamless. It's been seamless.
Right. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, it's been great.
Okay. Good. Yeah. And then this last question is kind of a segue into the last topic that we've brought up several times, but I'm going to just break down in detail. How do we generate traffic from the website, from social media to the website? And basically the answer to that is this social media auto post. And so again, this is a plugin that's on WordPress. You don't need to really worry about what that means. It's just a program that we just need to take basically a 20-minute meeting with whoever controls the social media account to connect the website to all your accounts. And we can support all these, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Reddit. As I was talking with Steve earlier, Reddit is surprisingly one of the leading sources of local news in the country. So it's a good one to be on. But basically what this function does is it takes the text and the teaser and formats it into a social media template and then blasts it out to all the platforms in one shot. So if you manage your social media account now, what do? You basically take the link to the website, copy it, paste it, log into all the platforms. Probably takes 5 to 10 minutes for each link, right? This completely eliminates that work. And so we're putting every single article that we're publishing on the site as its own page. We publish that as its own post on social media. So, we really get maximum exposure. Now, Bill, you're all set up with that. Lisa, we're setting you up with that. You mentioned, Bill, the only thing was Instagram. There are definitely some things are finicky when you're dealing with third parties and APIs. Sometimes it's hard to get in there. But is your Instagram page very popular? Do you get a lot of views there?
Not really, because we haven't been dropping stories on Instagram. I know.
Right.
I have 2 Facebook pages that the company owns.
Okay.
We operate, and one of them has been. It's called Nottoway Now. I just wanted to use the name in case somebody tried to come to Nottoway County and do something like that. Right. And now those social media stories are dropping on that Facebook page too. Right. And now the likes are going through the roof. I mean, it's crazy.
Right. Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, we definitely want to get the content plugged in there. It's just I've definitely seen this with Instagram sometimes. But really, the main point I want to make with this is it's all about generating clicks from my view. That's my goal because that is required to get the revenue. We definitely want to grow our brand on Instagram and grow engagement, but we can't really convert that to traffic because Instagram posts are not hyperlinked. So, that's kind of in my view, one of the lower priority ones. But Facebook, you get the traffic every time. And actually, as we'll see in a minute, I'll just tell you right now, 70% of your traffic bill is coming from Facebook right now.
Wow.
So, I'm sure you believe that. It seems like you understand. Like,
Oh yeah. That doesn't surprise. I'd be curious what the other 30% is coming from.
Right. Well, it's a mix of other social networks and direct traffic. I could get you those stats. Yeah, it's interesting to look at.
Cool.
Now we're getting kind of to like, okay, we actually do have a question from Phil. I want to address this really quick. With the ad network, Phil, you don't have to sell those ads. You we put code on your page. You just have to, there's 2 steps. You have to create a Gmail account for your paper. And then you need to basically give approval to run Google ads on your site. And so that's just an email approval that you just have to confirm that you control the website. So it's a 2-step process. And then we run the ads, and the ads are automatically sold for you through an ad network.
Yeah, Matt, just to clarify, Phil's question was, my advertising staff has never sold digital ads.
Right.
Will our hometown and VPA help train them to sell digital advertising? I know that's a question from a lot of folks. You could be intimidated. Some sales staffs can be intimidated. You may have sold, quarter-page ads, print ads for the last 115 years. Right. Somebody wants to talk about, CPMs or clicks or click-throughs or this and the other, particularly with Google Ads or whatever they're calling it this week. So I think that, you've explained that, and, it's very, very hands-on in terms of the training if you need that or if you need the help. I think, and, Billy, Lisa, y'all can certainly attest to this. Our hometown will certainly hold your hand in terms of the technical things. And our staff here at at VPA, we have some unbelievably skilled sales folks here who can handle, working with your sales folks to help get them trained up, go over some of the technical things, talk about best practices, talk about pricing, in terms of how do I price a digital ad? Should our quarter page ad is $250. How much do I charge for a website ad? I have no idea. Okay, so we'll work with that, and of course, what you're charging for a website ad next year, once you build up the traffic, will be more than what you're charging for it now, which is kind of where we are. And Matt, I don't know if you were planning to talk on this about the cost of the program itself while we're talking about generating revenue.
Sure.
But were you planning on that? You want me to hit that?
I have some info on that later.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
We'll wait and get to that. I just want to make sure we got that while we're talking about generating revenue and paying for the site and stuff. But yeah, exactly. So as Matt said, the technical aspect of the selling ads, our hometown is certainly there to hold your hand through all of that. And the VPA staff, if needed, will be glad to help train folks up and give you collaterals and help talk to you about how to price those sorts of things, what some of the best practices are for selling. So I just wanted to pop in and lay that on you.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true, Steve. Yeah, the only thing I wanted to make clear is that, with the ad network, that's in there from day one, but any direct ad sales that you make, we can replace the ad network because, those are to fill the remnant space. Okay, so now the features and services, just to kind of formally lay out the, just kind of like how the website's going to be set up. We have the WordPress platform. So anyone that's familiar with WordPress, it's, kind of designed for bloggers. But what we've done is taken WordPress and customized it for newspapers. So right out of the gate, it's got all the functions that you need as a newspaper website publisher. And it's not just a blogging system, but it's very easy to learn because it was designed for anyone to just be able to pick up. Digital subscriptions, that is going to just be part of the system. Web ads and the ability to run direct ad sales or the ad network. Then the e-edition PDF viewer, I included this. This is like a core feature from my view. And, as Steve has, basically, we have a lot of different features that we can talk about. We've kind of narrowed it down to just the core ones that you really need to convert that print audience. And this, kind of helps bridge the gap by giving them the print replica on the website so they can still see it as they're used to, but then they can, begin to look at the HTML articles as well. Then we've got social media auto posts. We've talked about that a bunch. And then the full service digital publishing. So again, that's totally hands off. We update all the articles on the website. You just send us the PDF and you're done. So kind of addressed a lot of these things already. A little bit of the funding and how this is all going to work. For the first year, as part of the digital initiative, the VPA is paying all the website hosting costs and production costs. So the nice thing is that you're going to be profitable basically from day one, as long as we have a paywall up or an ad network, because that will be generating revenue from day one, and you collect all of that. The only thing that we do take a revenue share of is the ad network. So we take 10% of that basically to pay for access to all these premium ad networks. So we end up making more money overall, but as a company, we're buying into multiple ad networks beyond AdSense. Okay, so that's how it would work the first year, pretty straightforward. And then second year, it's going to shift a little bit, where 50% of the cost is covered by VPA, and the publisher would cover the other 50%. And what we're looking at, just to give you a ballpark, for a weekly paper with about 12 pages, total costs, the second year would be around $150 to the publisher, and then $150 to VPA, just to give you a ballpark on that. And that's for us to fully produce the website every week, and all the hosting costs. Third year and beyond, then we do transition the full cost to the publisher. And this whole schedule is designed to be sure that the website is profitable each year. So, it's definitely, as Lisa said, it is a struggle getting a brand new website, getting traffic there, and getting subscribers, just even getting people to know about the website. So we really give that whole first year as runway. There's no costs, and then we start to shift the costs. And, obviously, we need to keep it sustainable throughout. So that's basically the funding model. I kind of explained that. Any questions on that or any comments, Steve, Lisa, Bill?
Yeah, Matt, I just wanted to say that, when we looked at, our members' needs and, what we could do to help them from the Virginia Press Association, one of them was we saw that, some folks were so busy putting together the weekly print product, and, we want to step out. So that's kind of what we've been going over. That's kind of the idea of it. But one of the things that keeps people from doing that, there's the technical aspect of it. There's the personnel aspect too. So there's also sort of the financial aspect of things. So, you can't pay, a lot of papers can't pay for a full website, the setup and all that sort of stuff right off the bat, because that's a big expense to take. And then the monthly fees, and, you're chasing after the money from Jump Street. So, one of the things, in working with y'all at our hometown, one of the things that Virginia Press Association wanted to do was make sure that the newspapers had, like we've said, some runway. So I think that the 3-year program is key here. Now, again, at the end of the third year, and we've said this, at third year, they're handed off to our hometown and y'all work with this. And one of the things that we said at the beginning was, if they want to take all of that elsewhere, and go somewhere else in year 5 or year 10 or whatever, they're not tied into anything proprietary, because y'all are building this on WordPress. Right. So they can slide that over. So nobody's stuck on anything. It's just, we are here and y'all are here. We're working together to get websites up for our members who don't have a website, who don't have a strong website, or just who want to improve their website. Billy had a website that people were using, had the e-editions, had all kinds of stuff with the Facebook and stuff. So we just, moved him a step forward. Lisa, we moved her a couple of steps forward, I suppose, just in terms
of a giant step forward.
Yeah. I mean, so we work with it. So at different levels, folks need different things, and we're there. But the first year is free. The second, it's kind of a halfway commitment. And then the third, we kind of hand them off. But by the third year, the newspapers are generating more than enough revenue to cover that. And if they're not, we're doing something wrong. We're not, our hometown and Virginia Press Association is not going to put any newspaper in a situation where the third year they're not making enough money to sit back and go, geez, I don't know why we didn't do this sooner. That's the whole idea. So that's what we're doing, just to get people moving, because we know how difficult it is. Particularly we're small papers, they're run by 1 or 2 people, but small, medium-sized papers that have 10 people. Sometimes you just don't have enough. Nobody has extra people sitting around. And so our hometown and VPA are the extra people for these newspapers.
That's exactly perfect way to put it. Yeah, appreciate that, Steve. Definitely. Yeah, and just one other point on that, like I'll add to that. Yeah, you could even look at this as a way to just kind of jumpstart your website, because you own all the archives and all the HTML. That's all your property, and that's all like clearly defined in our contract. So yeah, absolutely nothing tying you to this long term. But and so kind of as a nice segue to that, anyone on the call today, I really wanted to help you take away something super tangible and like actionable from this. And so we've developed a whole, protocol for launching websites, just strategies for pricing, design of the site. So I put together this list of website tips and tricks, and I just thought we could chat about them and, discuss Bill and Lisa's experience with it. We've really talked about this quite a bit already, but the Facebook opportunity, I really just don't think that should be missed. Many publishers, regardless of whether they have a website or not, but especially if they don't have a website, they have a huge audience on Facebook. Actually, as Bill said, like he would often just start live streaming on his Facebook page, right? And you probably got a lot of followers because you were putting out a lot of great free content, right? That's what I've noticed happening. There's a publisher we work with in Indiana that would post hundreds of photos on a single post, fantastic images from basketball games and things, and just had no way to convert that into revenue. So now we post all those pictures on the website, post a couple on Facebook, but then get them to the website to look at it. So that's the bottom line. Then you generate traffic from Facebook by auto posting the links. We can always post links on Facebook. Anyone can do that, but takes time, like I said, and it really adds up if you're doing all your posts. So just to automate this completely, the idea is to convert the Facebook audience into a paying subscriber audience, and then also generating ad network revenue from every single visit, even if they don't end up converting to a paid subscriber. So here's those stats. At the Courier Record, you have over 12,000 followers on Facebook. We enabled social media auto posts from Facebook and Twitter, began sending every article published on the website there. And so 70% of your website traffic is coming from the auto-generated WordPress posts. And so that's out of a total of 25,000 visits in the last month. I think you've been live with us just about 1 month, just slightly over.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Yeah. So that's excellent for getting off the ground, and we're going to just continue to build that. Any comments? Anything else you want to add on this? I feel like we have talked about this Facebook strategy quite a bit. To boil the website design, I talk about this a lot in other webinars. The main thing I just want to say to everyone that is listening is think mobile first. Really, you would be surprised at how much of your audience is on mobile. If you check your stats, you'll see for yourself. If we look nationwide, definitely the majority of website traffic to local news websites is from mobile devices. Now, I don't expect you guys to know this stuff. Virginia Star, what would you guess, Lisa? What percentage of your traffic is coming from mobile?
I have no idea.
Okay, no problem. I just looked it up. So you're at 41%. So that's, not quite halfway, but, definitely going to build it that way. And you got to remember, they're used to looking at the other website on mobile. And now that we've got a mobile responsive website, hopefully they'll start to come back around. Courier Record, what do you think, Bill? Where does your mobile audience, how does it break out? What do you think, percentage-wise?
I have no clue. I'm really eager to see this number.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. 79%. So for you, I just chalk that up to just having a more active website more recently. So the mobile takeoff has really been the last 5 years. We've seen a huge increase. And so you were actively publishing, even though it wasn't the full story. With Lisa, she wasn't really publishing articles on the website. So that I don't know. It's just a theory, but I would definitely suggest everyone on the call check out your stats and see where you're at with mobile. It's just always helpful. Because
hey, Matt, one question. I got one question, Matt. Just generally speaking, I'm not going to hold you to this. If you were in my situation, and Lisa's situation similar, would you do what we're doing now with no paywall and have the ad network, or would you have the paywall?
Right. No, I think that especially if you're paid in print,
right,
I think we want to have a paywall.
It needs to be paid.
With the free print edition, it could go either way. I still think there are some cases where paywalls make sense there, but the key is it's got to be a metered paywall, Bill. That's what I believe, because then you're not shutting out that casual traffic, and you can still generate that ad revenue. It's kind of the best of both worlds as far as I can see.
Okay, metered paywall.
Right, a metered paywall. If we have a hard paywall, we lose out on the casual traffic. If we have no paywall, we lose out on the subscription revenue, which is significant.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how I would approach it. It's a good question. We can definitely talk about the timeline for that, because you're only a month in. It's not at all uncommon for people to have the free, site free for a month or two, just so that people can see the new site, and really experiment with it. But then we can launch a registration wall first, and then a paywall to collect emails. That's a good strategy. We'll be talking about this in the future. I'll follow up with you on it. A couple other things here. On designing the subscriber experience, I always like to point out that you want to think of the website as a marketing and sales tool for really digital subscriptions, and look at it as like a sales funnel. So, we've got the metered paywall that, again, allows the casual visitors to consume a limited amount of content each week. We've all seen the metered paywall in New York Times, and, so we're all used to that user experience, and I think it's kind of the leading strategy right now. So I always recommend that. Another thing that you can do in terms of designing the website, where design meets, UI and user experience, is to capture emails with a newsletter sign up. Steve was talking about this earlier. The newsletter is a great way to maintain engagement, right? Because we can have people come in randomly from Facebook, but we don't really have a relationship with them. They come in and they can bounce and never come back. If they give us their email, then at least we can outreach, every week when we publish those news stories. We send a newsletter with the teasers and a link to every article. So, that starts to move them along the funnel. And then this is actually what I was thinking about just a second ago for you, Bill. When we launch your website, really, I think that an intro offer is important. Most of the paid content sites do this now. First month, 99 cents, and then auto renews at the full price of $8 a month. And, that full price can be anything, but I really think most weeklies can strive for $8, and then, just offer discounts at different times to, kind of incentivize people to convert. Any questions or comments on this, Bill or Lisa, or Steve, anything you want to add to that?
Matt, how easy is it to set up a newsletter through the programs that you guys use? Yeah, can it be done automatically?
Yeah, we automatically, indeed. Yeah, we will set it up, and we'll send it out each week. We'll design the template. If you want to, have maybe just like slightly larger images, or just change the template in any way, we can do that based on feedback. But you're not going to have to do anything. This is just going to be going out from day one. So
if we said, if I was a newspaper and I said I wanted to do my three or four most recent sports stories on Thursday,
right,
and my 2 or 3 most recent obituaries or whatever on Tuesdays, I could schedule things like that, right?
Yeah.
We could also monetize that, have a sponsor ad, run it in there like a PDF or a JPEG for $25-$50 a pop, something like that.
Absolutely. Yep. You can run those ads. We would just put them in the template. You could email the graphics to us, and we'll set it up. But like you had mentioned earlier, the training that we offer is unlimited. So if you did want to really get in there, get in the weeds and learn how to set this up yourself, we would give you any training you need to feel comfortable with that. But we also just, we have people that are just kind of standing by all over the country doing these papers all day long and all night long in some cases. So, we can respond to requests like that very quickly. If you got a newsletter going out tomorrow morning and you got an ad for it, we'll get it in there.
In addition to newsletters, you guys also do a lot with audio and audio playlists.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So we can definitely shift to that. I would love to tell everyone a little bit about audio. So if you go to our website, we're really focused on converting and trying to expand the audience, beyond text, basically. And it really plays into the philosophy of the company. For years, we've just taken this print product and converted it to digital, in text format. Now we're taking those text articles and turning them into audio. So it's a computer that turns the text, it reads it back to the listener, and it's completely automated. You don't need to do anything, especially since we're updating the text articles. You don't need to do anything in the process, and we can actually produce a podcast. We can feed all these individual articles, these little audio articles to the podcast apps. And we can set up a playlist on your website. I can show you.
Matt, you got do you mind popping over to the Chesterfield Observer? Because I know they're set up.
Yep.
And so, each article has its own audio article. So I just think it's really cool being able to create your own playlist from most recent articles or something. I mean, a lot of people, commuting.
Exactly.
Have the paper read to them, which is great.
Exactly. Yep. The playlist is key, I think. So we got a couple of things that I could show you here. Here's the metered paywall actually popping up. Let me see if I can exit this. So it counts down the number of articles I have left. But like I said, this is the player, and it appears on every article. So I could just listen to this one story. Let me go ahead and just play a little bit for you so you can get a sense. Hopefully you can hear this okay.
Audio Articles is brought to you by the Chesterfield Observer. To place your audio ad here, call us at 804-545-7502. Road to Redemption. Chester premiere of Discovery Plus series shines the spotlight on Sheriff Leonard's response to the opioid epidemic.
There you heard an audio ad. I didn't mention that, but we can insert ads in there. So, we can dynamically insert them, or, you can have one advertiser just kind of own that position for a period of time. But on this homepage, this is pretty fun. We're really having fun designing this product because we look at it and we think Spotify is where it's at, right? And so we really tried to design this to look like Spotify and use a lot of the same discovery tools. So you've got playlists that are automatically generated for you, so you could just listen to this week's paper or this month's articles. We're kind of just creating these collections, and then we have category playlists, so you can just listen to one story after another about crime, police, and fire, if that's what you're into, or whatever. And then here's just the most recent audio articles, so it's just kind of like a chronological thing. But the playlist, again, I think is really going to be most exciting for us here, because it's like, it's the reason people get lost in YouTube, YouTube show hole for a long time, because they keep recommending stuff. And we have to be doing that. We do it at the bottom of the text articles. We'll recommend other related stories. But for this, we're generating playlists just like on Pandora. So if I choose an article about dispatchers, 911 dispatchers, then I'm going to get all these other articles about police department, carrying trauma. There are things that mention, there are articles that mention the same topics. So it's like you don't have to sit there and generate a playlist and put together a playlist of articles for yourself. We will automatically do it based on what you're interested in. So yeah, that's a kind of a cool segue. And a quick plug for our hometown. You don't need to be on our platform to do this. We can set this up actually as a third party. But if you are in the digital initiative and on our WordPress platform, we could just turn this on and you would have a podcast instantly. So I'd love to talk to anyone interested in that. But you can find more info on our website.
So Lisa, Billy, if you guys don't have anything to add, or other than just great praise for our hometown, which I'm assuming for all the great work they've done, we appreciate y'all joining us and being kind of our first year guinea pigs for this, and being so responsive. And I know, because having spoken with y'all a number of times, it has been a good experience for you with the digital initiative. And I guess if anybody has questions, y'all are y'all probably wouldn't mind if somebody shot you an email to say, all right, give me the straight scoop on it. Is it as good as y'all's cracked up?
And I'll say this too, as a rule, whatever you belong to, whether it's a country club or a chamber of commerce, people are always asking, what benefit do I get out of it? And I can honestly say, This is not just because I'm a former board member. This is to me, one of the most, the biggest benefits that the VPA has ever offered its members, not to mention the lobbying, fighting for the public notices and all that. This is a big deal. And most of the papers, I would venture to say, are rural/suburban in the Virginia Press Association. And we know who the big papers are, but all across the Commonwealth, there are papers like Lisa's and mine with a staff of between 4 and 7 people that are overworked. You're always worried about, God forbid, if someone leaves, then we're back at, it's, I'm more upbeat. I'll be honest, I'm more upbeat and optimistic and less intimidated by the great vast internet than I've ever been. I'm 53 years old, college educated, have a strong online presence, but now I'm starting to see, hey, we can monetize this baby. We can do it.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks.
Let me add, if this 61-year-old woman can figure out how to do it, anybody can do it. Because I didn't know anything about it, but our hometown has done a fantastic job, and it's so easy. Everything they tell you to do, you do it, and it's simple. And then you look like the New York Times, if that's what you want to be, the New York Times. But they're a fantastic group.
Thanks.
Yeah, so if you want to just kind of do an iteration of a step up for your website, move along and add some things, VPA in our hometown would be glad to work with you in the program that fits. We actually had a newspaper, a member call us up, Matt, I don't know if you remember this, but last year who wanted to do a lot of things that, what wasn't really part of the initiative. We just kind of handed them off to y'all and y'all worked with them. And,
exactly.
It wasn't the sort of thing that we weren't necessarily got involved, but we felt good enough when they were looking for a provider that could do, different stuff than what the initiative did, that we handed them off to y'all. So, if it's a fit, great. And if it's not, we'll move on and we'll move forward. I would be remiss if I did not mention Rachel Flaherty, who is the person in charge of digital here for VPA, who was fantastic, and who, if you have any questions about this, please reach out to her, Rachel F at vpa.net, or call her. She is here from 5 in the morning until 10 at night. And so anytime at that time, just give her a call. And Matt, any closing words from you, sir?
Oh, geez. I would just say, Steve, I just want to thank you personally and Rachel. I mean, just such a great job at implementing this whole thing. And I love partnering with you guys. You're a great team, and I love meeting your publishers. I guess just the next tangible thing that we would take is we just need a PDF of your paper. If you're interested in this, no commitment required. I'm happy to do it. Just send us a PDF. You could either send it, I guess, to Steve or Rachel, or just directly to us via WeTransfer, however you prefer, and we'll set up a whole responsive website for you and just take it from there.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again, y'all. And if I don't talk to you tomorrow, have a lovely weekend. Thanks everyone for joining us. See you next year in person.
All right.
Take care, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks, Bill. Thank you, Lisa. Great talking to you.
Thanks for joining us at today's Our Hometown virtual conference. Follow Our Hometown on social media for updates on the Digital Initiative Program, or visit ourhometown.com.